Hey everybody, we are back with day number 2 wrap-up of D23 Expo. As we talked about in the last video, trying to do what we do at Comic-Con, or at least so did this year at Comic-Con, of kind of doing a quick vlog each night to talk about how the day went, and particularly since we are in more the realm of collecting, you know, whether it be freebies or exclusives or whatnot. That's kind of the area that we frame a lot of our shows around, or the things we cover around, although we still love doing panels, and we'll talk about that as well for this one. But for Saturday, we ended up making our way to the floor the same way, or I should say the same time. We got to the convention center around 7 a.m., a little bit before that. We decided to try something different. We parked behind the convention center this time and used the, what is it, the transit hub or whatever that access point is for security, and that was all pretty smooth, pretty clean. Got in there, not very thorough security once again, but made our way in there. They shuffled us into the lower area though, rather than when we entered at Catella and they'd put us in the North Hall. Now I think we ended up being literally like in the last 10, 15, 20 people that they allowed to do this. And so when they put us in there, then they said we needed wristbands to get onto the floor for the overnight, the orange wristbands, and which actually I've got right there, and that they had just run out of them, and so then we were going to have to leave to the North Hall. Then somebody said, oh, they found them in somebody's fanny pack or something like that. Long story short, no real signage to make it clear, but they ended up handing us some wristbands, putting us at the very back of the line. So I guess we were kind of the last people in the Hall E area that were going to make their way into the floor. So then they moved us into the front kind of holding area in front of Hall B. And they left us there until about 9 o'clock. And so it was interesting because we were, being that last priority, somehow put us, instead of being kind of the end of like the Hall A people, we were like the beginning of the Hall B people. So we weren't as, I'm sorry, the Hall C. So the Hall C people were set up best because they were going to be right in line with like the Dream Store, Figment, Mickey's of Glendale, all that. And we were down at B, which, so we had kind of a straight shot to the Disney Store, and then, you know, a bunch of the photo op places and things like that, but not really the stores like where you'd go shopping. So we thought, well, you know what? We didn't really plan to try to make a run for anything too much, but now that we're in a decent position, maybe we could. So basically my plan when we hit the floor was to head up towards the Disney Store, which we had a fast pass, or a stage pass I should say, for later in the day, but thought, well, if we can just get in there now and get it out of the way, that would be cool and not have to wait till later in the day. So I started heading that way. It looked nuts. So my secondary stop was going to be cutting over towards like the box lunch area, and on the way there, looking to the right, saw that Mickey's of Glendale was looking terribly messy. All the people from, what was it, Hall C made their way straight there, it seemed like. And so headed over, and basically Carmel got in line at the Dream Store. And so in the Dream Store, her main goal was to grab the Mandalorian merch, which was out there today, and she was able to. It was limit 1 pin and 1 pop per person. Not sure if the shirts were limited that way as well. We came to learn later in the day that the pin and the shirt were also available at the Disney Store, but at the time we thought that was going to be our only way. So picked up the pop, picked up the shirt, picked up the pin, and that was about it from that. We got the Dapper Dans, if you saw our video from yesterday, from our friends James and Beth, and so we just, you know, that was really the main goal, was Star Wars. So she waited in that line maybe about 15 minutes to get in. It was pretty fast. We were in there at a pretty decent time. It seemed like people had the Dream Store very low on their priority for that side of the hall. It was really all about Mickey of Glendale. Now I did head to the other side of Mickey's of Glendale, and I thought, okay, well, let me just see, and it was like, nope. It was, I would say, about 500, 600 people, not in a line, just in a giant circle. It looked like lots of pushing. Security was intermingled, all these D23 Expo blue shirts. I'm like, nope, not going near there. I'm gonna head over to Figpen. If you followed along with us at Comic-Con, you know Figpen is something that would just dabbling in it. It does remind me a lot of Funko for us, which is something where it's like, I'm kind of okay with it. I don't, you know, it's not my favorite thing, but I kind of like some things, and you start picking up a couple, and then you start liking more things, and I don't know, we probably have 100 or so pops at this point, and, you know, not many of them are great ones. A lot of them are just, you know, the cheapy ones you buy for $10 or whatever. It's not like there's a lot of big exclusives there. There's a few, but Figpen's kind of the same same way. And so being able to pick some up, we went ahead and got the exclusives, the Iron Man, obviously Sorcerer Mickey, as well as Buzz Lightyear there. And then important if you're, looking at D23 Expo, maybe you're watching this in the future to go in 2021 or whenever the next one is, make sure to really study those spots that are giving you an advantage for the gold membership. We are D23 Expo gold members, and so we were able to get this extra pin, which is pretty cool because it's just a little kind of easy catch. But we've noticed like on eBay they're going for like 30-40 bucks, so if we ever want to sell it, trade it, whatever, there's some something for nothing basically is always a good thing. So happy about that. And then also made my way over to Hallmark. There was no line at all. And again, if you follow along with our Comic-Con stuff, we like to grab ornaments here and there. My mom loves the ornaments as well, so sometimes we keep them, sometimes we give them to her. But they're fun to kind of pick up there. So that was kind of our morning, was bouncing between those. Then Carmel headed over to the Simpsons panel. We thought maybe there'd be some cool giveaways, and there was some really awesome giveaways, but only if you were asking questions. The people asked, so as soon as the first question was asked, Matt Groening had ripped out a sketch that he did. The cast on the stage there signed it, all of them, and that person got it. And then the line filled with quite a long line, and people were getting sketches. So outside of the sketches, this is cute and fun with the Mickey ears, but that was it in terms of the giveaway. Thought they might do a print or something like that, but nope, that's it. And really, outside of a few buttons here and there and stuff, that was the only freebie that we picked up for the day. So not a big one, but something. A lot of the freebies are things, you got to scan your badges. We've talked about that in a podcast and in a lot of videos. That's kind of the way of the floor these days. And more than I'd say something like Comic-Con, a lot of the booths at D23 Expo don't give you anything for scanning your badge. They're just kind of collecting your information. So it's kind of weird because at Comic-Con, most everything, when they scan, they're giving you something, and not quite the same at D23 Expo, although there are several that are. So that said, then later in the day, we had our reservation via the portal system from last week for the Disney store, which this is the first time, so really the Dream store and the Disney store, in going to D23 Expo since 2011. I think this is the first time we've ever been into two stores in the same day. So that was kind of a cool experience, is just getting to see what that was like. Also not seeing, like normally when we've seen these stores, it's just on Sunday when everything's just totally dead. So being able to kind of see them at their peak when they're busy and actually stocked was interesting. I will say the Disney store really felt almost like overwhelming. Everything was so expensive and everything was so cool, or not everything, but a lot of things were really cool in there. But in the end, what we did pick up, so first off, I absolutely love the episode 9 Backstage jacket. Thought that was really great. It's got the Star Wars logo on the back and all that. So love that. It was $70, and relative to the other things in the store, the Disney store, it seemed like super cheap. And also in that vein, the hat. And these are both part of their Backstage line. So the idea kind of taking you behind the scenes of like what the cast and crew are wearing, or, there's a really cool sketchbook there. It was limited to 200. I really wanted to get it. But it was $100 for this book. And I mean, it looks super cool, and I'm sure people are, going to pay more than that on eBay or whatever, but we just went ahead and left that one behind. So those are kind of the two main things in the Star Wars realm. There was a lot of temptation with the, the Elite Series stuff, which they kind of keep coming back and bringing on life support with Disney. But I don't know, we've tried to stay away from that unless we're buying them on serious discount. I think I've got an R5D4 for like $5 a couple weeks ago. So didn't want to commit. They were $90. There was 3 sets. They each came with a droid from episode 1 through 9, and they made a big deal about the episode 9 one being exclusive to the show. But I just, couldn't go down that road. Then we did pick up, and I gotta be honest, I don't really know anything about Vanessa here. We looked online. It seems she's what Ursula becomes, and I don't know. It's the 30th anniversary, but we have a friend that's super into these figures, so it's like, okay, we'll pick it up. And they had a ton of her. They had a ton of everything in this kind of doll style, except for the Ariel, which I believe the Ariel is kind of the hottest one of the weekend, it seems. So I know there was a lot of people asking about it when we were in the booth there, but they seem to have been sold out of those. Although some things they were like restocking, like some things seemed to be out, like the sketchbooks, for example, and then all of a sudden they showed up. So I don't know if that's just something they say they're sold out, and it just means they're sold out till they bring more out, I believe. In that same vein here, the Marvel Backstage Black Panther light up wall art, which it's interesting to me. Like, it looks so cool when it's all lit up like they had a display piece. It's limited to 150. And the CM working said they actually had damaged a lot of them, so it's actually less than 150. But I think in the the packaging is kind of a cheapy looking packaging, so I don't think people would really, I don't know, it doesn't seem like something. What was it? It was, yeah, 60 bucks. So it looks amazing out of the package. So when we put it up on the wall and it lights up in the background there, it looks really cool and looks pretty fantastic. But I don't know, there's something weird about the packaging that they did. So anyway, that was kind of a fun find. We felt with only 150 of them that we needed to jump on that. We love Black Panther, love all the Marvel stuff. They had some really great retro, like Make Mine Marvel, and then a Spider-Man Villains shirt, which were really great. They were kind of on these like racks where it looked like they were like spinner racks for comics, and they were vacuum sealed so that they kind of almost looked like they were books, magazines, maybe not as much comics, but they were like 55 bucks each for a t-shirt, and it just felt like everything in there was just crazy price, except for as we go to checkout, they have these pins for $5. And so we are not huge pin collectors by any means. We don't really I don't know, we just don't know a lot about pins. Like, we'll dabble with something like that, or the Mandalorian, you know, Star Wars stuff that we're really into. And in this case, I mean, I love Three Caballeros, love Mary Poppins, but we didn't get them because they were that. We got them more because they were $5. And we're like, oh, they're cool. We'll get them. Maybe we'll keep them. Maybe we'll give them as a gift or giveaway or things like that. We obviously have, because we do giveaways with Parks and Cons, that's always something helpful too, because we know if there's something we get that we don't end up loving, we can go that route and use it as a giveaway, and somebody out there will love it. So that being said, it was a good day on the floor. The hall really emptied out by around 4-ish. And one of the things about the con is just so many people get locked up in the lines for the exclusives that there's a lot of times, especially when the big panels are going on, like in the morning with the studio stuff as well, where a lot of things end up being pretty empty in the walkways, not the lines. I mean, the lines are still 2-3 hours long or more for a lot of the exclusives and stuff. But in terms of just making your way around for photo ops and stuff, there's a lot of opportunities there if you shoot for kind of the end of the day or when those bigger panels like the studio panel was going on. So we kind of had two windows, one in the morning and then one in the late afternoon, evening, that kind of 5 to 7 slot particularly, where it was really kind of nice and free flowing. So had a good time, saw all of the various rows, visited all the exhibitors and saw the photo ops, took all the video I think we needed to, which we have a lot of video on the YouTube channel now if you're interested in anything from the show. So tomorrow our goal is the parks panel. That's kind of our #1 thing for the day. Fortunately, we have a reservation for that as well. And then from there, we'll see. I don't think we're going to be leaving early, so I think we'll be floating around the floor and trying to find more cool stuff. I'm not sure if we'll do another one of these videos or not, because Monday morning of work is going to come really early, and the expo gets out at 7 o'clock, and then we got to pack up and drive home. So we shall see. If we don't do another one of these vlog type videos, though, we definitely will have lots to talk about it all on our podcast. You can check out anywhere you find podcasts at Parks and Cons. We have episode 1, so it looks like we'll have 2 episodes for this show. Episode 1 we just put in the can today, and we'll be recording episode 2 tomorrow, so you can look for those coming out in the next week here. So we will wrap up here talking day 2 of the D23 Expo 2019. Until next time, we will see you in line somewhere.